Welcome, and let's start our class laying down. So finding your way to your yoga mat, grabbing any additional props or cushions that you'd like. Right away, coming down to maybe Shavasana with your arms and legs outstretched. Maybe bending your knees and standing your feet up near the edges of your mat, and then allowing your knees to rest together at the center. If your arms ever feel like doing something new or different, just let them do it. And when you find your starting position today, maybe taking a sighing breath as you settle in. Take as many clearing breaths or sighing exhales as you'd like. And closing your eyes if that feels right, or maybe just softening your gaze in no particular direction. And starting to zero in on the flow of your breath and noticing if your breath reflects any emotions that you're feeling or gives you any other information about your current state of being. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And just like with anything over time, if we continue to practice yoga or other skills or habits, sometimes we get pretty used to doing things a certain way. A lot of times, those ways can definitely be justifiable, but there is value in adopting a beginner's mind even if you've been doing something for a long time. So I invite you to try to step into that beginner's mind here for our practice today, approaching the mechanism of breathing, approaching all of the different poses we'll do and movements, approaching them like it's your first time or one of the first times that you are really paying attention, and you can see if anything happens with that. So, with your beginner's mind, noticing what a full inhale, what does that feel like in your body? How do you know when when it is a full inhale? What does that mean to you? And a full exhale. Pretending that you haven't, maybe you're an alien and you haven't done much breathing here on Earth before, beginner's mind. How would it feel just breathing in and breathing out? Scanning through physical sensations in your body. See what catches your attention or where your awareness wants to go. Deepening your breath. For some diaphragmatic breath here, so letting the belly expand with your inhales, letting everything soften with your exhales. And if it helps, you could bring your hands to the low rib cage or belly area and inhale, feeling that expansion into your hands there. And exhaling, feeling that softening. If you'd like to commit that beginner's mind to as your intention today, or if you want to set a different intention, now is a great time to consider doing just that. Let's take 3 clearing breaths, inhaling through your nose and sighing out of your mouth. In your own timing, now 3 rounds like that. Eventually, bringing a little wiggle into the fingers and toes. Maybe circling your ankles or wrists, letting your head rock from one side to the other, just inviting in a little bit of movement. If your knees were bent, let's straighten the legs, heading into a long body stretch, reaching fingers and toes in opposite directions. All right. And then we'll hug the knees in toward the chest. Take a little bit of free movement here, loosening things up with some massaging pressure around the low and mid back. We're going to head up to a seat next. Feel free to rock on or go on to either side and press your way up. Or if you like to rock and roll a little bit, we could rock and roll up and down the spine a couple of times. If you want to get a little bit fancy, you could grab opposite feet and rock your way up to a seat, up to a cross-legged seat. Ooh, it's kind of fun. Once you're up here in a comfortable seat, feel free to lift up, sitting higher up onto some props. I'll sit up on this blanket. Sometimes just having those sitting bones up on something can help alleviate a little pressure there through the hips. Tenting the fingertips up on either side. Again, lengthening upward through the crown of your head, feeling nice and tall. This is one of the directions we need to move our spine every day, is lengthening upward. So just giving that a moment. With an inhale, let's flip the palms toward the sky and start to lift your hands on up together, joining overhead, looking up as they join, and exhale, lowering hands down to heart center, tucking your chin at the bottom. Inhale, send the hands high, gaze follows. And exhale, lower hands down to either side. Find your own flow with this now, using your entire inhale to lift up and your entire exhale to lower to heart center. Catching your own wave of breath here. Maybe 1 or 2 more rounds. All right, eventually let your chin come down toward the center of your chest. And then allow your right ear to rock toward your right shoulder. Pausing there to notice sensation through the left side of your neck. Dipping your chin back down toward the center of your chest, and then rock your left ear toward your left shoulder. Pause there as you Relax through the right shoulder and watch for some sensation through the right side of your neck. And rocking back and forth a couple of times. All right, let's move along to hands and knees, cat and cow. Another two directions that we want to move the spine every day. Inhaling to cow pose, lowering the belly, lifting the tailbone, lifting the gaze, kind of a back bend here. Exhale, cat pose, rounding up through your spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone, and then forward fold. So inhaling to cow pose, exhaling to cat. Really good for our spine to move in all of those directions just to keep things loose and mobile. Plus, we know that saying motion is lotion. The synovial fluid in the joints can be kind of stagnant if we don't do much movement. So here we are, treating our bodies nice, moving our spine in all the directions at some point throughout class today. When you're ready, find your way to extended child's pose with your knees out wide and your big toes touching. Sinking your seat down toward the floor, and then lowering your head and heart, or finding your favorite variation. Let's come back to that diaphragmatic belly breath. Letting the belly and the torso expand in all directions with your breath in. Softening back to this moment here with each exhale. And then we'll start to move the spine into our next direction. It'll be a side bend to the right. So we'll walk the hands over toward the right edge of the mat and then lower back down and feel not only the bending to the right, but more so the expansion through the left rib cage, the left side. When you're ready to switch, go ahead, walk your hands over toward the left side of the mat, and then sitting back down, feeling the bend to the left, but really that opening and lengthening, expansion through the right side. Eventually coming back to center. Let's rise back up, tabletop, grabbing our blocks if we like to use them, and then head into our first downward dog. Steady through our foundation, hands and toes pressing into the mat, starting to lift the seat, the tailbone high. Find your breath first. Establish a flowing breath, and then maybe adding on some movement, bending and straightening opposite knees. Stretching out the calves a little bit here. And then when you're ready, walk your hands toward the back of your mat. I'll end up in a forward fold at the back. Just for a few moments here, lingering in that fold, and then working your way up to a halfway lift. So eventually hands are coming up to thighs. And we're feeling that deep hinge through the hips here. Sometimes it helps to feel like you're going into cow pose. You're kind of puffing the chest up. Give that a whirl. And then tuck your chin toward your chest, rounding through the spine. Start to rise all the way up to stand. We'll get a little shake out going here up at the top. So letting your body just kind of shake it out however it comes out, or maybe starting by lifting and lowering your heels a couple of times. Shaking out all the different muscle groups of body. Maybe dusting yourself off a little bit. All right. Meet me at the back of the mat here. Take a look at your feet. Solid foundation. Spinning the palms to face the front of your space. Mountain pose. With an inhale, start to rise up to your tippy toes, shifting forward and lifting your heels. With your exhale, see if you can spend your whole exhale lowering down. Working on some muscle control there. Inhale as you rise up. Tippy toes. And exhale, lower on down. Do that one more time here. Option to lift the arms overhead as you rise up to the tippy toes. Exhale, lower everything down. All right. Start to take a little dive forward. Maybe let your hands kind of go down the front of the legs. No rush. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands coming back up to the thighs. Exhale, walk your hands out toward the top of your mat so you end up in a high plank. One breath in there. And then exhale to lower your knees and lower your chest. Inhale, baby cobra. Pressing the tops of your feet into the mat as you lift your head and heart. Exhale, lower. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, rise up, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, baby cobra. And exhale, lower. Inhale, press your way up, tabletop. Grabbing your blocks. And then use an exhale to find your downward dog. Big breath in and out. 2 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. One last time. In and out. Inhale, bend your knees, look up toward the top of your mat. Exhale, step just the right foot forward, giving it some help if it needs help on the way there. Inhale, rise up. High lunge or crescent lunge here. So we're bending into that right knee. Exhale, warrior 2, spinning that left heel down to the ground and gazing beyond the right fingertips. Inhale, straightening both legs. Exhale, warrior 2, bending back into that right knee. Let's do that again. Inhale, straightening your right leg. Exhale, warrior 2, bending the right knee. Let's stay here for an inhale. And exhale. Bring your hands down to the blocks. Spin all of your toes to face that top edge of your mat. And take a step or a couple steps to get to the top of your mat. So you end up in a forward fold at the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, joining hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a deep breath in and out. And a clearing breath into the nose and out with a sigh. Inhale, reaching high. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bringing your hands to blocks. Step just the right foot back. We're going to stay lifted here. So bending into your left knee. And then rise up, crescent moon. Big breath in, feeling strong. Exhale, warrior two. That right heel spins toward the back of the mat this time. And gaze beyond your left fingers. Getting established here with a few breaths. When the timing is right, inhale, straighten that left leg. Exhale, warrior two, bending back into the left knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, warrior two. One more time, inhale, straighten. And exhale, warrior two. Bring your hands back to your blocks, but we'll walk our hands or our blocks around to the right. So we end up in a wide-legged forward fold toward the long side edge of your mat. So just go ahead and play here a little bit. We can bend one knee and then the other, just kind of shifting back and forth, feeling some stretch through the legs and kind of the groin, maybe even the hips. All right, we're adding in another direction for our spines. It's a twist. So we'll bring the left hand or left hand block to the center of the mat, or to the center, like underneath your chest. And then we'll reach the right hand high. So we're in this kind of a halfway lift position, twist, reaching the right arm high. Inhale, reach your right fingertips a little higher. Exhale, we're going to lower the right hand to be about horizontal to the floor. Inhale, open your right arm back up, twisting up. Exhale, unwinding to that parallel position, the right hand parallel to the floor. One more time, inhale, up. And then exhale, lower down. We'll switch sides, bringing the right hand to the right hand block there, somewhere near the center. Inhaling to twist up for the sky. Take a few breaths here, getting established in this upward twist to the left. If you liked that movement, we can add that on, inhaling as we reach high. Exhale, closing just to parallel, so the left arm is parallel to the ground. Inhale, opening back up toward the sky. Exhale, halfway closing. And one last twist. Take your time, bringing the left hand down. Walking your hands toward the top edge of your mat. But then lower your right knee down to the mat. Bring your left knee back to meet your right. And we can end up in hero's pose, sitting back on the heels, or you can bring a couple of blocks beneath your seat, or more support there, whatever helps you feel like you can take a moment here without any pain. If it's best, you could kind of stand on the knees. So go ahead and get situated for a moment. You can bring the palms to face upward in your lap, kind of resting there. Stretching the ankles here. One more breath in. And one more breath out. Come back to hands on blocks, curling your toes under, and downward dog, stretching your feet back out. Breathe in, press your palms into the floor even more. Exhale. One more breath in and out. Inhale, come forward to your high plank. Exhale, lower your knees and lower your chest. Your choice here if you want to go through baby cobra again, lifting and lowering a few times with your breath. Or if you'd like, at some point, we can find Sphinx pose, planting the forearms, the elbows more or less beneath your shoulder joints. We'll press the tops of the feet into the mat and see if you can kind of fire on the glutes a little bit here. And that's meant to support the low back. You might take a half tuck of the chin, so you're kind of looking at the floor between your hands. See if that feels nice on the back of your neck. Three more breaths, Sphinx pose. And then go ahead and lower on down, crocodile pose, stacking your hands or fists beneath your forehead. Let your heels splay out to the sides. Relax the back. Start to bend the right knee so your right foot ends up in the air behind you. Pointing and flexing through the ankle a couple times or circling through the right ankle joint. We're just getting some movement there. And then lower your right foot. We'll switch. Left foot lifts behind you, bending your left knee, circling out your left ankle, pointing, flexing, moving that joint in as many ways as you can. And then lower your left foot on down. Now we'll bend both knees this time, so both feet end up in the air behind you. And then we'll sway the feet over toward the right and up and over to the left. So just kind of getting that rocking motion back and forth, noticing how the twist through the legs affects and is connected to the rest of your body. Just going back and forth, kind of loosening up, limbering up the low back here. Maybe you can feel that connection. Lowering your feet down to the floor. Bringing hands to either side of the chest, press your way up to tabletop and then back to child's pose. Your variation, maybe knees out wide or knees a little closer together. You're welcome to stay right here in your child's pose or add on another little twist here with me. We'll keep the knees the same, but thread the needle. So bringing the right hand down underneath the left arm, bringing your right shoulder and right side of your head to the floor or to props. You could keep your left hand where it's at or experiment with tucking your left arm behind your back or pressing your left hand into the mat or the floor by your other hand. Start to think about switching sides, coming back up, planting the right hand, and then threading the left arm down and through, setting the left shoulder instead of the head on the floor. Experiment with the right arm there, maybe planting next to your other hand, or maybe you tuck your right arm behind your low back. And when you're ready to be done with that, coming back to center, coming on up, go ahead and sit over to either side, bringing your legs around front. And then lower down to your back. Well, that felt very good. If you want to, you can lift back up and back down a couple of times. To me, this feels like a little back massage. I'm stretching out the low back. Ooh, even cracked a little bit. Eventually, just let yourself rest on the mat. Nice big sigh. And then we'll bend both knees, standing the feet up on the mat. Press your left foot down even more as you start to lift and straighten or almost straighten the right leg. Take a moment to notice your core muscles here and just try to stabilize. Try to stabilize yourself here, holding that right leg up. And don't be afraid to let that wobble come in. I love the wobble now. Before I always thought it was like a sign of weakness, but now I'm like, yeah, we're wobbling, we're pushing ourselves. And I feel like an overall like sense of honestly like bravery. Pushing through the wobble. And then bend your right knee and rest your ankle on top of your left thigh. If this feels like a nice stretch, just hang out right here. Option to press your right hand into the right knee or thigh. You could sway the leg side to side here. Figure four. Alternatively, you could come up to the left tippy toes or reach to interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. For a moment here, checking in Notice how much effort and ease is happening right now, how much you're enjoying yourself. Is there a way that you could enjoy this physical sensation just a little more? For me, that means like sending my breath, being with the feeling with the breath. That helps me to enjoy. When you're ready, setting the left foot down if it was lifted. You can lift and straighten your right leg once more before switching. Bringing your right foot down to the ground, pause there and just notice any sense of like buoyancy, I want to say, through the pelvis. I feel like one side is just so light and free. And then we'll switch sides, lifting, straightening or almost straightening that left leg up. And then feel your core muscles and your stabilizing muscles there working to kind of balance and keep your left leg lifted. Staying here for any amount of time. I'm going to explore that wobble, so I'm going to stay until I can really feel it for a moment. Whenever that time comes for you, you can bend your left knee and rest your ankle on top of the right thigh, figure four. Staying right there, or maybe pressing your left hand into your left thigh or left knee. You could add in that swaying motion, side to side. You could play with coming up to that right tippy toe or reaching to interlace your fingers behind your right thigh, just so long as your head comfortably remains on the floor. Eventually bringing the right foot back to the floor if it was lifted. Go ahead and lift and straighten that left leg once more, giving it a little kick or a shake if you want. And then bringing your left foot back down to the ground. Let's head into that long body stretch again, legs and arms reaching in opposite directions. Let's get a side bend again, one of our directions of the spine. So walking your heels over toward the right edge of your mat. Option to cross your left ankle over your right. And then grabbing hold of your left arm or wrist and gently pulling the upper body to the right. Banana pose, just like its name, creating that banana shape. Side bending to the right, aka stretching and expanding through the left side. And switching sides when the time is right. Heels walking over toward the left edge, possibly crossing your right over your left this time. Grabbing hold of your right arm or wrist in banana pose, reaching to the left, stretching and expanding through the right side. Coming back to center. Constructive rest pose. We'll bend the knees and then stand your feet up toward the edges of your mat, way out wide. Let your knees come together at the center. If you want to reset the pelvis a little bit here, you could just lift the pelvis up a little bit and then tuck your tailbone under and then lower back down so your low back is a little bit closer to the floor. Let's get a shoulder stretch here. So we'll give your opposite shoulder, giving yourself a little hug here, reaching for opposite shoulders. One of your arms will be on top of the other. Just note which one that is here. Once you get there, kind of reach your elbows up toward the sky so that you end up kind of pressing between the shoulder blades a little bit more. And then you can rock side to side through the upper body and see if you can get that same kind of massaging pressure here now between the shoulders. If it doesn't seem to really work that well for you, you could come into more of like a almost a crunch position and feel that pressure a little more distinctly. We'll switch the grip, so let your arms come out wide. And then grabbing opposite arms or shoulders again with the other arm on top. And finding that sway side to side here, massaging pressure through the shoulders and the mid upper back rather. And if there are any last poses, movements, or stretches that you'd like before your final rest, go right ahead and move through those now. And when you're ready, go ahead and rest. We'll maybe stay here in constructive rest pose with the knees coming together at the center. Or maybe reaching long into Shavasana. Let your body find its rhythm. Let your body and your brain take over the responsibility of breathing, just letting go to the natural flow. Soften the muscles around your eyes and your forehead, your jaw. Letting the skin and muscles loosen through your head and neck. With each breath, imagining that any bits or pieces of the body just kind of soften and come back into its proper alignment. Just breathing and allowing your body to do that repair and heal, rest, digest, and heal kind of work. You deserve your rest. You deserve your rest. Yes, you do. Please feel free to continue resting, digesting, healing as long as you can, as long as you want. Eventually, we'll reawaken the physical body with gentle movements, subtly moving fingers and toes, increasing some movement or movement sizes, maybe circling ankles or wrists, maybe yawning or swallowing. Eventually, we'll roll to either side, finding the fetal position, and then press your way up to a comfortable seat. We'll join hands at heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may our thoughts, words, and actions somehow contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. Bringing thumbs now up to third eye center. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Let's take a bow forward together now, sealing in our class with gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.